Welcome to Subnautica, a game all about being scared of the ocean. The fear of the deep, dark depths, not knowing what's below you, or the fact that everything wants to kill you. So, in spite of this, I'm going to be trying to survive 100 days in hardcore Subnautica. One death, and it's all over. This is part 1, which means I did fail my attempt, but I have a story to tell you. That story starts on day 1. After crash landing into the ocean and regaining consciousness, I woke to find that my life pod was engulfed in flames. So after expertly handling the situation, I took my first dive into the water. Swam around, trying to fit in with all the other fish, began to collect some basic resources, and capture all the fish I can get my hands on. I swam into this cave, thinking there might be some goodies in here, and oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. Well, I grabbed the cave sulfur and got back to my life pod to make some basic tools, before I set back out in the night, where I promptly wandered around until day because I could not see anything. Day 2, I fabricated some more equipment, including a sea glide, a glorified water scooter which will help me traverse the waters much faster. I watched the sunrise and saw some suspicious looking clouds on the horizon. I know that there are islands in this game, and I think I just found where they're hiding. That's a mission for later though. For now, I gathered more resources and found some free scrap metal. Nobody wanted these anyway, right? Back in the life pod, I got a distress call on the radio, and I went to go help them, and oh, don't think anyone's home anymore. Rest in peace, radio dude. While I was in the area, I searched the red grass biome for any blueprints or materials I could find, and I almost died to drowning like 5 times, but I didn't, so it's alright. Not like it's hardcore or anything. Day 3, I went back to the red grass biome, continuing to explore. I found an entrance to the jelly shrimp caves, but I did not enter, because I was scared. After all that exploring, I found all the parts to make a sea moth, a small, fragile submarine that I will put a bunch of rich people into so we can all go see the Titanic. Just kidding, it only fits one person. Once I got back to the life pod, I got another radio call, this time from some dude who was responding to the Aurora's distress call. He thinks we're just low on gas or something. Yep, just low on gas. Before the end of the day, I used a habitat builder to build a habitat, a little base I can just use for some extra storage right now. I don't know where I want to build my base, but I do know I don't want to build it here. These safe shallows are just too safe and shallow. Day 4, I went out for materials. I was really just looking for a cool spot to build. I did find this giant kelp crater, which I am considering, but I'm going to keep searching for now. I ran into a giant island with a ginormous alien gun. Sure hope it doesn't work anymore. The entrance was blocked off by a force field, which I tested. It wanted me to feed it some kind of purple tablet, but I didn't have one. Yeah. Oh, I found one. I'll do later. I want to climb up this mountain first. I found some new materials like lithium, 3 purple tablets, and a giant cliff with a pool of water at the bottom. It would be fun to jump down and try to see if I can make it, but I'm in hardcore. I don't want to risk it. Send it! Whee! I went through the underwater cave at the bottom and got spat out right back where I started. So I guess this is my cue to go inside. Day 5, and it's all very green. It's like what I imagined alien technology would look like when I was 7. Not even 30 seconds after I got in though, the Aurora decided to blow up, and I wasn't able to get out in time to see it. Yeah, yikes. Anyway, I went through the alien structure, found some ion cubes, some artifacts, got penetrated, found a... Wait. You got penetrated? Yeah, a robot stuck a 12-inch metal beam right through my arm and told me I was so sick that the whole planet had to quarantine. I think he must have been a doctor or something. I don't know. After that, I went out through the big moon pool, right above a giant drop-off. That's nice. You know, for supposedly being built by super smart aliens, this whole building is very haphazardly put together. It's definitely not up to code. I also found this weird royal squid-looking thingy called a warper, which warped away. Didn't attack me, so I think it's basically just like an ocean enderman. Don't look in the eyes or something. Day 6, and I'm still looking for a good base spot. I don't want to build somewhere just to find a better spot right after I'm done. I traveled away from the Aurora today, and I found a mushroom forest and eventually a big drop-off. There was a shipwreck that I was going to loot, but multiple Leviathan-class creatures changed my mind. It is hardcore, after all, I don't want to risk it. I found a giant ravine that had some ruby and some blood oil, and if I remember correctly, this is where you go to get into the Lost River. However, I am far from ready for that right now. I found another shipwreck on the way home, and found all the fragments to unlock the mobile vehicle bay. So now I can make a sea moth. Day 7, I got home and I made the sea moth. I gathered whatever resources I thought I might need and headed off to where I wanted to build. I got lost in the dark and almost ran right into a big floating island. Noted. Also, I think I found out what has been making all the roaring sounds. Good thing he's right next to where I wanted to build. Day, I simply chose to hope for the best when it comes to Reaper, and I started to build. I didn't have a big room to fit my bioreactor, so solar panels it is, for now at least. After I finished building the Subnautica equivalent of a dirt shack, I went off to explore the floating island I found earlier, which is also the Aurora rendezvous point, apparently. I must have missed something, I don't know. On the way there, though, I got distracted by a life pod and ended up finding an ultra-high capacity tank blueprint. Thanks, dead guy. Day 9, I arrived at the island and looked around and found two bases on the mountain peaks, which both look like big penises just kind of sitting on the top of the mountain. I didn't really find much, so I climbed up to the tippy top of the mountain, the highest peak in all of the land. And I saw that the graphics aren't very good outside of the water. And oh yeah, there's a third base, and I see it has a multi-purpose room. Hooray! I finished exploring the island, almost died on the way home, and made a bioreactor, so now I can harness the power of fish, which are plentiful in the ocean. I bet your house doesn't run on dead fish. That's what I thought, bud. Day 10, I wanted to build a large room, but I was short 2 lithium, so I went out looking for some all day long, but I couldn't find any. I think I remember seeing some on the alien island with that giant gun, though, so I'm going to head over there. Days 11 and 12, I headed towards the island, stopping at a shipwreck along the way. I explored the caves for lithium, then, at the end of the day, I surfaced and walked over to the landing site, where those radio people from earlier are supposed to come and pick me up. They should be down here any minute. Wait. Uh-oh. Well, shucks, that was my only hope for rescue, and they just got fried like an ant under a magnifying glass. I found a portal room in school, I guess. Day 13 was kind of a housekeeping day. I made a quick trip over to Life Pod to retrieve some materials I left there, and I spent the day building in my home. I made a large room with a glass ceiling, which looks awesome. I also found out you can get infinite gel sack seeds from just one gel sack, so of course I abused that. Base looks pretty nice. Day 14, the beginning of the end. I decided to spend the day adventuring. I found an area past the life pod with these big glowing sea mines, like the ones from Finding Nemo. I found loads of different blueprint parts, and even a time capsule. This warper was determined to stop me from opening it, but since he's just a dumb video game monster, I got past him and was rewarded with a laser cutter. Is it cheating? No. Does it feel like cheating? Yes. Am I gonna use it anyway? Duh. I was getting low on water, but I decided to go back to the shipwreck and use the laser cutter before I went home. This would prove to be a mistake. I got all loot from inside, and I headed home, thinking all was well. Except I couldn't find the way home, and my sea moth ran out of power. Whatever, I'll just come back for it. I gotta swim the rest of the way home, I guess. But, as my water level dropped lower and lower and lower, I began to die of thirst. At this point, I was stressed out, but not panicking. I could just use this 1,000-degree knife I got from the life pod to cook some fish, which will give me a tiny amount of water, not much, but it'll keep me from dying. I got just enough water, then continued home, and then finally, my base was in sight. Everything will be fine, I was thinking. I'll just go in there, craft some bleach into some water, and then I'll be okay. So I decided to push the rest of the way there and not stop for any more fish. I get to the base, and I'm dying. The clock is ticking. I go inside, and in a panic, I try to craft water. But something goes wrong. I can't craft it. I don't have time to think, so I try to go kill a fish to save myself, but the fish are just too fast, and that was it. I died of thirst. Embarrassing. I will redeem myself and survive the full 100 days. Watch me. Thank you for watching.